Okay, my new video, this one, is to do with people being envious of people because they're rich. I don't think they are, because if you look at the greatest entrepreneurs and business magnates, people like Richard Branson, Bill Gates, a lot of them have got there through thinking out of the box, which an intelligent person can appreciate, hard work and ethics, and they actually, good business ethics. They actually, after a while, started to think about philanthropy and philanthropic endeavours. So they put their money to good use, and obviously creative stars like Elton John has been wealthy for a long, long time. I had an 80s handbook with Elton John in it. As soon as he, started getting a really big star, but I suppose he's been a star from the late 70s or early 70s even. But, he really started accumulating his money by the 80s. That's really what I should say. And Watford Football Club, and actually joking about his charitable endeavours in this book of the 100 greatest 80s superstars, which has got everybody in them from John Craven to Jeff Capes. Don't know, if anybody remembers incidentally. But so what I'm saying is, he is a creative talent to this day, and that can only big money. But anyone can have, well, not anyone, but a lot of people can have creative talent, and they don't put the consistent effort into. Okay, sometimes it can be luck. You can have the creative talent, and then you can get life trauma, you can get illness that knocks you. But someone like Elton John, let's say everything's going fine and someone has that creative talent, you can't just get that on creative talent alone. He's worked hard. And then like people that have got skills in a different direction, like Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, and then people that are very enterprising, like Richard Branson, Virgin, the Virgin Empire. They've actually been grateful for the immense wealth they have and started doing something entrepreneurially, which also gives to poorer people, or the poorest people in the world, in the instance of Bill Gates. So why would necessarily a rational person be jealous of somebody that's got lots of money? They actually, if you're like me, I'm not very materialistic, I'm spiritual, but I do appreciate money for the luxuries it can buy. So what I'm saying is money isn't the be all and end all. It never has been. In fact, I find knowledge and wisdom more powerful than money. But I think that to get anywhere, you need a basic. Everyone should have a basic standard of living. I perfectly agree with that. But I'm just a bit sort of puzzled why my Twitter account has suddenly been demolished. I can't understand it at all, because my tag on my Twitter is ethical and compassionate, and despite being popular and sharing pictures of animals and landscapes and things like that, I don't really retweet anything risque. Apparently, I had nearly 2,000 followers on Twitter, but they were local people from the British Isles mainly. There were some from the States. So it was more about current affairs than Facebook. But because I've got the English degree, I was quite good at retweeting the right current affairs. But I was observant about what I retweeted, and it's called X now, of course, but I know for sure that I didn't retweet anything. I'm not a prejudiced person, and I'm not an offensive person. I know for sure I've not actually retweeted anything like that. I did seem to have some celebrities follow me, and some of them were charitably minded, like Bruce Jones, for instance, of Cora, but apparently I had some film stars, which was unbelievable, following me. Fair enough. I mean, it wasn't very many, but obviously those people are people that have come over to this country, and even though I've sort of been a bit judgmental about them, these couple of people obviously like me. Despite standing for women's rights in some capacity. So I thought, fair enough, I'm not a biased person, I'm impartial, I just retweet impartially. But I did have nearly 2,000 followers, and it wasn't like most of them were needy people. They were just genuinely taking an interest in my topic areas, and they appreciated my spirituality and ethics. And a lot of people from the city of Chester. And I was into sort of architectural reform, that kind of thing. Nothing that would break the rules. I've had my account since 2013. So I had been paying for Twitter Blue. So after a few months at like £9 a month, something like that, it's gone up to £11 now. I was still being charged after being blocked, and so I'd been doing it for a few months now, so it's probably slightly approaching £100. It will be well over £50 that I've sort of paid towards Elon Musk's Twitter Blue, and then I had it deleted, and then he continued to charge, so I put a stop to that. I thought, no way. I say, you got much more money than me. Then the fair enough thing was I created a new account, which I mean, as soon as it became Twitter Blue, it seemed quite structured and quite well ordered, and all this stuff that Elon had said about youing people down. He seemed quite a friendly guy. I thought, he's just got a sense of humour, and he's just playing about, and because he's got a lot of money, he's just playing the fool a bit. Then I started, when I got my new account, I was popular and I was getting people quite rapidly, and not just people that were poor and from another country. It wasn't that. It was mainly people from this country and the States. And I thought, wow, but they were sharing the same interest, which is like animal welfare, stuff like that, and nature conservation. And then I started getting, but I'm also well into my current affairs. I started getting things like, after I'd retweeted stuff I'm not the author of, I started getting the messages from Elon Musk, who'd also put me on his personal contribution list as I'd make payments towards Twitter Blue, saying, that is not correct on that retweet. You retweeted the wrong information, but it was up there. I wasn't the author of it. And even then, that was, I tweet a lot more than that, so it's only kind of one or two things in about like 20. So I thought, it sounds like he's having a go at me a bit. And I didn't really understand why my very popular account had been deleted with a picture of my dog on it, my first ever dog. I just didn't understand why it had been been finished off like that. It's still there in the ether, but he's not letting me, he's just suspended it indefinitely. And I ask why, because there's people, I'm not even risque on it or anything, there's people far worse, and don't get me wrong or take this the wrong way, I like people, which is why I'm a compassionate mentor, and people vary, but there's some people that are coming across as a bit cheap and nasty on it, and they're sort of still on it, as far as I know, but I don't retweet any of their stuff. And if people want to be like that, so long as they're not deeply offensive, if they want to do that, live and let live. But I don't do it. That's the point I'm making. So, but I got, I thought, where's this going? I've got an account which I've put hard work and effort into for 10 years, being deleted for at least 10 years, randomly deleted, and then my new one did well quite rapidly, and then because I just did that on the rebound, and that's been deleted after these sort of strange messages from Elon Musk's team. But why do they let, if they, I mean, I can't for the life of me think that there was anything risque or anything prejudiced that I did retweet, but if I inadvertently did, which I'm pretty certain I didn't, why would they still be up there? Because as I'm an avid retweeter of current affairs, I'm impartial and I will just retweet because I use it in a journalistic kind of way, having taken my degree in literature, English. So why doesn't he ban these tweets that he doesn't like anyway, so that no one can retweet them if he's offended by them? So why is he having a go at people merely for retweeting something which seems innocuous, which is already there? It doesn't make sense. And he seemed to be an intelligent guy. I don't think he has done a degree, but he did start a course in business and economics, and I suppose he comes from a privileged background. It's in the family, which isn't a case with most people, even with even with the richest of us, in the people I know, nothing like that. But I am educated to level 7, but I'm just a pauper by comparison, and I had no talent for physics whatsoever. So I thought, his field of interest is nothing like mine. He's got a lot to be grateful for, having that money. For a start, I haven't anywhere near it. And as I say, I'm more into English literature, and I did medieval European history as a subsidiary subject, which was a bit depressing. The Cathars and the Inquisition and all that spanned 250 years all across medieval Europe. I did another subsidiary in my favourite subject area, British political history, 100 years from like the end of the 18th century to the end of the 19th, something like that. Yeah, I think it was slightly beyond that actually, but it was the European medieval history that was the, you know, on top of English literature, which you had to read loads of books for. And I like the drama bit, but the literature of ideas was my best subject. I also did philosophy, which I did very well in, and I, to this day, I'm a philosopher poet. Because both my Twitter accounts have been demolished, I'm keeping stoic and reading my Epictetus and you know, reviving the good old days of Bangor Uni in some ways. But a lot of it was about the meaning of life and legal torts, ethics and debate. So I'm probably highly verbal by comparison to Elon Musk. He doesn't seem bad from what I've read. When I was on Twitter Blue, I thought this is well structured, there's no back chat, it's all in good order, he's doing well here. But then he started being quite difficult for no reason and almost like a zealot, you know, a ruthless zealot, not a zealot for the task in hand. If he'd have kept to being zealous for all the right reasons, but he seemed to be like almost persecutory. And why the hell he would need to be, it's coming across like, I have had this, but a lot of people aren't like this, but some people don't like educated women, and it can be other women that see them as competition, or it can be some men in certain circumstances, but by no means is it a universal thing. Some people just think, oh, like you for who you are, and they think, oh, that's a kind person. They're not a threat to anybody, they're nice. So, you know, and also I've said my tagline on Twitter was compassionate mentor. So I'm very people orientated, and I think that's why I got the following on that. So I'm a bit concerned about this, and well, to hell with it. If somebody's that difficult, you know, but I'm saying that I'm standing up for myself quite ferociously, not because I'm ever been particularly jealous of his wealth, but I've been sort of undermined by him, and that's why I am reacting to him like that, or someone on his team but I was added at one point to his personal contribution list, and there were only about 26 other people added, so he obviously did notice that we were in the same age group and I was intelligent. He obviously noticed that about me. I had shared a video, not of talking, but of just singing Dowland or something, and I don't know, I'm thinking perhaps there's something about him which is less charismatic, even though there's nothing for him to be jealous of at all. Maybe he's not got that people power, and you know, he's not, maybe even though he's probably better at physics and spatial awareness, perhaps he's not got verbal skills and to the same level. I mean, I write about ancient wisdom and philosophy. Maybe it's something he'd like to do, but he can't do to that level, and he's got the green-eyed monster about something, or maybe he just doesn't think women should be educated at all. I'm speculating, because I'm thinking, why on earth would he want to be malicious when he's got all the money in the world? Must be something. And he's obviously got a reasonable amount of intelligence, I can tell by the tweets. But his kind of intelligence isn't the same as mine. I'm not into physics or Tesla, even though I admire Tesla. But I wouldn't have thought I'd have particularly clashed with him, to be honest. So if I do, even though I'm a mere pauper, I'm sort of thinking, wow, Boudica, I've got a rich man bothered by my standard of education. And maybe he's just not geared to compassion, and I'm geared towards compassion and spirituality. And even though he's not harmed anybody, well, he has probably harmed them by finishing off their accounts, but he's probably not harmed them in any dangerous way, direct way. But he's not, maybe he's not high on the emotional intelligence, and it's something he envies. I don't know, or maybe he has a prejudice. I don't know for sure, but it's not coming across as very nice to be just demolishing an account and then not presenting evidence as to why, and saying, oh, you violated the rules, like I'm, as if, you know, because I'm a regular person that wouldn't violate rules. I'm not prejudiced. I wouldn't offend anyone. I've got a sense of humour, but I'm not that risque, really. I wouldn't do anything sordid. But I have seen one mainstream article since became X that looked sordid, that was a loud presence on Twitter. Maybe I shouldn't have spoken out about it, but I did. But that was not on Twitter, which is now X, of course, so I should be calling it X. As I say, you can't please all of the people all of the time. I mean, just because 80s people like Elton John, people, you have to say that he's a great creative talent. Even people that don't like him, that prefer 50s stars like Doris Day. But I'm just thinking it's really disturbing that Musk should endeavour to try and permanently delete a very popular account of mine, and then try and delete a replacement account that was making progress rapidly. I find it quite disturbing. But hence I speak out quite vehemently. But I could do with a bit more money, but a lot of rich people give to charity, like these people I've mentioned, like Bill Gates, Richard Branson, Elton John. They have philanthropic ideals, I should say, but I'm not seeing evidence of this with Elon Musk, who is even richer. It's like it's not kind to sort of delete two Twitter accounts of someone quite pleasant who, with no evidence as to what they've done wrong. It's not particularly rational, or so that's why I'm disturbed by it. Not because I've got I mean, maybe I should have the green-eyed monster with the amount of money he's got, but I'm not particularly. I'm more concerned about why he acts that way with his money and power. Because some of the other rich people do not act that way. So I think that's all I can say on the subject. But I'm sort of keeping resilient and doing my yoga and all my, dancing and keeping up tempo with what I listen to, because otherwise I think I'd go mad. Also, this is an entirely separate incident, but someone tried to hack into my bank account for what comparatively little I have. So I'm trying to keep the bounce in my life. I can't believe that every day and every night. Bounce. And getting better if you're out of my life. Bounce. No way to stop it now. You wish that you could. Bounce. When the weekend comes, I know I feel alive. Bounce. You will be the last thing on my mind. Bounce. No regrets, do you know what that means? Bounce. Bounce. Da 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 da. Bounce. Well, that's about the worst it gets with me as far as being risque is concerned. Right. Okay, I really like my Calvin Harris, and I like my sort of dance. I like dance anthems, but I like everything musical. So I'm trying to stop myself feeling persecuted. You know, I'm trying to have faith in human nature and not think authorities getting out of control here. You really gotta take a look of feelings deep down in my soul. You really got to taste this fire. Well, quickly, you know, my love will take your hair. So come on and take and get it, and quickly. You know I would, you know I would. Well, I'm keeping happy. I'm not getting feeling too persecuted about it. That's all I can say. Okay. And I'm feeling proud, like Boudica, that anyone with a lot of money can see an educated woman as a threat. It's just totally bonkers.